So, of course, once again, welcome to Liege to those who arrived yesterday night or even this morning just to take part in this, because it happens that some of you, not so many, but we are mainly interested by this research project. The first thing we will be doing is the following. I give you first the plan of this morning. We will begin, Marthe and myself, by presenting the whole context of the project and then the guidelines that we are proposing for at least for the first year of the project, with some hints to the further steps. This will take time, especially as we will discuss various points. We'll have a break around 10:30 and then continue. But the first thing I would like to do is the following. You are just receiving folder. Everybody has received a folder? No, is it? They are just coming. And it's okay? No. In this folder, you'll see various documents which will be helpful for this morning, but especially, I think it's the last document. It's the list of potential participants to the ICSEM project. So please don't look at the PowerPoint or the other steps. Just take the list of potential members classified by country. During the conference, we were asked several times, is there in that project anybody from the same country, from my country? And so we already spread a few information, but here we have a long list. I would say it's almost the maximum list of potential participants, because the list includes all those who express and re-express firmly their interest and sometimes already their commitment to take part. But we got also mails from people just saying, I will go to the meeting just for informative purposes, so I'm not at all committed. And a third category of person are all those who are not here, either because they had to fly earlier and express during the conference their strong interest, and maybe a few of these names didn't show up at all at the conference, and neither today, so it's not the full list. But to be quick and just for a first identification of who is here, and especially who from your country is here, let's go to the list, and I just want to ask you to give you first name and last name, and of course I will say the country. So, and you don't speak about your center. The centers are the institution are explained, listed in the third column. So let's go to that point without losing time, and let's begin with Australia. Could Australian raise their hand? There is a delegation. So, could you tell your name, but very loudly, Joe? Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So, did you understand? More or less, eh? I would suggest that everybody speaks English like the French-speaking person. I'm sure Esperanto is closer to that kind of language. So I must admit that Josephine Baraket is there. Also Joanne McNeil. Yeah? And the third? Oh, Morgan Bronwyn. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, sorry, there is a whole delegation.
I didn't raise my hand. Really, I'm purchased to be Cambodia.
Okay. You come with the C. Okay. We should not forget the C. So, next ones, we have Australia, Korea person. Oh no, maybe Hee-Yeon Kim. Is she here? We note Australia, Korea. She's doing her PhD in Australia, but I know she had health trouble. So let's go to Austria now. Where can you raise your hand? Here? Okay. Your name? Maria Anastasiadis and Richard Lang. So now Belgium. I propose to skip Belgium. By the way, various of our colleagues in our center are not here because they are exhausted. And you are all exhausted, but they worked. So, next, Burundi is Leonidas Nyokindi, but he's also from Liege, in fact, but Burundi might be covered. Brazil. So, can you? Okay, Adrian Ferrarini, okay, from Unicinos, and Maria Veronese, great, from Canada. So, okay, other Canadians, but I'm sure there were a few other interested persons. Melanie Claude is willing to join after the last step of her PhD. Then Chile. Chile is there. Latin Americans are scarce resources. Okay. Then China. Mainland China. Who is there? So W-U, Xiaoming, already involved. Other Chinese for the moment? Okay. Then Croatia. Oh yeah, she left and she gave some information. Cambodia. Are you still from Cambodia? So, your name? Isa. You were among the Australians? Yeah, okay. So, then Denmark. Denmark is, of course, yeah?
Hi, Hopper's Copenhagen Business School.
Yeah. Lars, of course. Other Danes? Yeah, Anirudh. Okay. Your last name is what? Wait. Okay. Belgian speaking, please. So let me. Who?
Lars Josephson.
Oh, Lars. Yeah, another Lars is from Denmark. Lars Jacobsen. I mixed up in my list. Sorry. But now Ethiopia. Ethiopian. Okay. I think Joe Prashanti is not really coming. Now Finland. Finland.
Yeah.
Harry Kostilainen
Eva.
and
Eva.
Eva Oud-Bekkers. Great. And Pekka, Pekka, of course, is involved in some way. From France, who is here? Eric. Eric Bidet. Pascal Glémin. Et
Jean-Louis.
Frédéric Clay. Jean-Louis Laville, probably. No, French. Yeah, we will fill the blank. Aix-Marseille, Francesca Petrella. Vincent. Yeah. Okay. Jean-Louis Laville, I suppose you are there. Okay. Jean-Louis Laville, Paris. Any other French? No. Let's go to Germany now. Germany, yeah, good delegation as well. Oh, you are not in the list? No, it doesn't matter. We may have missed one or two mails. So please, Karl Birkholzer from Berlin. Christian Lautermann and Thomas Schurlin from Heidelberg. So, oops. And by the way, Nicole Göhler Ravensburg did confirm her participation yesterday, but she had to leave. So, after Germany, Japan. No, sorry.
Ghana.
Where are you? Yeah. I'm skipping half of the world. So, Ghana. Who is here from Ghana? Yeah. William Owozu, welcome. From Africa, from Greece. Yorgos Alexopoulos. From Hong Kong. Oh, you are an important person. Okay.
Political discussion.
Okay. Kam Tong Chang. Another person from Hong Kong. I think, in fact, Israr who is Indian, is working in Hong Kong, but he will be working more on India, I think. Now, India.
Uday Kumar, Bangalore University College.
Uday Kumar, okay? Okay, Shahan Pekka, okay? Another Indian. In fact, we met the day before yesterday. There is a group of 6 Indian potential partners. All right. Now, Ireland. Mary. Mary O'Shaughnessy. Israel. Benjamin Gidon, former president of ISTR. And for Italy, Giulia Galera. You are not in the list. Eh? We will add you, of course. From which? Bocconi University Milan. Okay, Luca Mongelli. Okay. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, Pietro Versari. Sorry. Any other Italian? Yeah. Yeah, Carlo afterwards. First, the ladies. Michela Giovannini. There were other Italian there? No, Chiara, but all right. Then Carlo. Who doesn't know Carlo Barzaga? Okay. Am I skipping any Italian? No. Okay. Japan now. The incredible delegation. There were 18 at this conference. Amazing. So, let's go from there. So, yeah, you know. So, Atsushi Fuji, sorry for the pronunciation. I'm just ecumenical, sorry. Koki Arada, Rikyo University. Yeah, yeah.
As you may know, for French-speaking people, it's very difficult to pronounce H. So Hajime is okay.
Hajime. First name Imamura. Yeah. Masaya Tata. Masao. Sorry. Okay. Well, is it? Are you?
First one.
Oh, the very first one. Sorry. Okay. Masao Ata. There. Matsuyo. Okay. Matsuyo Makino. Manasari Sakurai. Yeah, I'm always mixed up with, sorry. Any other Japanese? Kenichi Kitajima. I'm sure it's right. Michio Imai. Okay. So, no idea. Other Japanese? No, yeah, there are, of course. We are there. Oh, incredible. So, yeah, of course. Excuse me, Akira. Akira Kurimoto. Matsumori Katsunori. Sato is easy. Eh? Okay, fine. So after Japan, we have somebody from Lebanon. Is she here or she left yesterday? She left, but she was interested as well. Luxembourg. Eva, how do you say it? Ruckert? Okay, thank you. Our dear neighbor. Mexico. Yeah. Oops. Carola Conde Bonfil. Something like that. Huh? New Zealand. New Zealand is there as well. Lauren Stengel. Susan Grant is very interested as well. She was there this last day, and she confirmed she would go in. Then Peru. Yeah, Peru. Yeah. Susie Caballero Chiara. something like that. Thanks a lot. Lisa, Philippine, Lisa Dicane, you are here. You can repeat your name. Then, Poland. They are Polish, yeah? So, she's Anna Kowal. I say Kowalik. The first is impossible. There, Marzena Starnarska. Thank you. Portugal. Sylvia? Oh,
Sylvia.
Silvia Ferreira from Portugal. Romania, where we will be going for the summer school. Yeah. Oh. So Nikolai Bibu and Mihai Lizeci. No other Romanian. Russia. Are you working with her or? No, so.
No, we are making a new institute in Russia for social innovation research.
Okay.
So it will be great to take part.
Okay. What's your name again?
Olga Katarina.
Oh yeah, you will. You will write down. Two Russians, so great. South Africa and a bit of France. Yeah.
Philippe Fayet, and I'm a research associate at Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in Elizabeth.
Okay. South Korea. Also. South Africa. Oh yeah, there is somebody else from South Africa. Excuse me. What's your name? Oh yeah, I remember. Some Dafule, yeah. So great to have you here. Let's come back to South Korea. Jonathan.
Tokyo John, and my last name is John. We are very happy, sweet information. I study first picture.
Okay, Jonathan Bokyo. Who else from South Korea?
My name is Stefan Shik. Actually, I am the Belgianist, but I work with South Korea.
Okay. No other South Korean? No? Yeah. Yeah, Eric Bidespan. Okay. Eric Bidet has lived 10 years in South Korea. Spain. Okay. Carmen. Carmen Guzman Alfonso, yeah, from Andalusia. Milan Diaz Foncea. Carmen Marcuelo, also like Milan from Zaragoza. Any other Spanish? Yes? Sebastian Riutort, something like that. Okay. Any other Spanish? No. Okay. Now Sweden. Malin Gawel. Okay. Okay. Victor Pestov. Switzerland. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Sophie Swatton and Michael Gonin are also interested, and she's Isabelle Ilekam, that you probably hear yesterday afternoon. Switzerland, Taiwan. Yeah, please. Yu Yuan Kuan. And also you are not in the list? You are? Huh? No. Sorry?
You are on the list or not?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Shutu Wang and Lu Yi Xie. Yeah. You should guess, huh? Okay. Czech Republic. No, I think the two Czech are not here, but for long they have been preparing their participation from Charles University. The Netherlands, our other neighbors, maybe no one here, but several of them expressed their interest. Arno Geurtsen and Hans Verstraeten, as well as Renier Van Hoffen. They all were at the conference, but had to leave. Tunisia, I'm not sure she came. Okay. Now, the UK. Who is from the UK? Okay, let's, yeah. So, Wendy Wu, W-U, Wendy Wu from Edinburgh. Ferry.
Fergus Lyon from the Third Sector Research Centre at Middlesex University. Also do work in Ghana and Bangladesh.
Great. Fergus Lyons. There, yeah. Simon Teasdale. Sorry, I didn't. Oh, yeah. Oops. Yeah, Seton, huh? Oops. Andre Sattery Proctor, right? No. Frederick Seton. Excuse me. Wait. Frederick Seton. Roger. Roger Spear.
Mike Gordon, currently at the University of Sheffield for the next few months.
Okay. Mike Gordon. Mike Roy, of course. Sorry. Mike Roy. Yeah. Sorry. Northampton, you said. Yeah. So, you see the name? You are in the list? Are you in the list? Okay. Heisenberg, yeah. Heisenberg, Richard, sorry. There are a few people we don't know, eh? Okay, Kelly Hall. Okay. Other British? No, okay. We are coming to the end. Lucy Jordan, I think, is not here. Then the US delegation, I could almost say the delegation of Georgia State University. The whole university came. So, Yeah. Dennis? Dennis Young, of course. No, no. Introduce yourself.
Elizabeth Sears, Georgia State University.
El- so Elizabeth Searing and Janelle Curling and Janelle and you. T- yeah, Thema Monroe White. Okay. No other Americans? Yeah. Okay, Yaso Tiru, Alaska Pacific University. We have people from all over the world. Almost the North Star, the Pole Star. Yeah, they are probably who? Yeah. Okay, and Andy Germach from Rutgers University, of course. Andrew Germach. Oh yeah, I forgot Algeria.
Yeah, my name is not already.
No.
Yeah, I'm Heather from the Center for Social Economic Development, Algeria.
Okay. Ager. Sorry. From Algeria. So I didn't count the number of countries, but there should be at least around 35. Excuse me. Burundi. Is it Burundi? Okay. Okay, fine. For Burundi. Right. Any other person who would not be in the list? So, okay, it took a bit of time, but at least at the coffee break you can identify other people. Well, I'm not sure you will, but it should help a little. Okay. Yeah, anybody who is not in the list should contact Sophie. You have identified Sophie, who managed many mails for ICSEM. She will be the administrative coordinator of the whole project. So please do not hesitate to contact her for any additional information. Now it's time to go on. So, in your folder, you have, I think, 3 other documents. There is a document that most of you already have, but we made a new copy. It's the full version of the ICSEM project, between 15 and 20 pages. It was what we distributed in the last 6 or 8 months. This is the real full project, so to speak, although some details are better explained in another document. There is a document with the PowerPoint presentation that we will be showing. And finally, there is maybe the most important one, a document of a few pages with the proposed work plan and some explanation of the various steps that we should follow. But let's start. I really invite you to first listen to the first part of the PowerPoint presentation. Although some of you probably know very well what I will be saying in the first 20 minutes, to those one, I apologize, but as you know, we come from very diverse backgrounds. Some just came for this morning meeting, others did not attend other meeting where part of this was explained. So I will go step by step in the, how to say, the building blocks, the conceptual first building blocks, and also a kind of a survey of the existing literature about mapping attempt of social enterprise or social enterprise models. So, oops, no, this, how does it work? Oops. So, the first, I will present the two or three major first parts. And although we don't want to spend too much time about conceptual conception, you know that each time we want to go to the field to identify any topic, we need some kind of conceptual, I wouldn't say agreement or clarity, but at least knowing what exists with respect to the major conceptualization of social enterprise. Especially, a great deal of the literature in the last decade has been precisely what is social enterprise, what is the best definition, are there various approach. If you remember some session, at least, there was an agreement to say, finally, there are a lot of approaches which have been designed by individual researchers or teams who wanted to build their own definition. With Mart, after work by Janelle Curling about US versus Europe, following the work of Greg Dees and Anderson, who identify in 2007 two major schools of thought in the US. And we decided with Mart Nissens to try to make a synthesis, which is not the very final, of course. We identify three major schools of thoughts. I'm not speaking of all or of many other attempts to conceptualize or define models of social enterprise. It's clear that somebody like Kim Alter from the mid-2000 has proposed various types of typology that you find quite easily on the net through her firm. And I just give that as an example because it's not our main basis, although you might be able to refer to typology like the one by Alter. The three major schools of thought, to repeat quickly, which has been explained much more in detail in the Journal of Social Entrepreneurship. There is first the Earned Income School of Thoughts. What is important to know here is that, in fact, that school has had two major steps, so to speak. In the first phase, all authors, all approaches built around that major school of thoughts. We can say afterwards that their converging point were such that we can speak about a commercial non-profit approach within the Earned Income School of Thoughts. A social enterprise was, briefly speaking, any earned income business or strategy undertaken by a non-profit organization to generate revenue in support of its charitable mission. This is still a widespread conception, but within this emphasis on market income surge, a second step, a second version of that school broadened the idea of earned income to serve a social mission. Especially, they state that the legal status does not matter, and in fact, any kind of enterprise, including a for-profit firm that trades for a social purpose, could be included in the social enterprise spectrum, and even public entities which would be reshaped in order to raise market income could also be included there. The main feature is clearly that idea that the best is to avoid any public grants or almost any public grants, and to look for independence, especially self-financing strategies through market income. I'm not saying that public grants are forbidden here, it's not true, but the maximum market income means a better situation. The hidden key feature in these approaches within the Earned Income School of Thought is that it's never very clear which proportion of earned income should be considered as a minimum threshold. A story about identification of SC in the UK is a great example about that. What about profits? In fact, the first version, CNA, said distribution of profit is clearly prohibited, like in non-profits. But the second the second approach within that school does not say anything and allow any distribution of profit which can be conceived, provided that the social mission keeps some place. It's not clear that what would be the kind of balance between the social mission and the for-profit objective. In this latter case, how to ensure primacy of the social mission, and sometimes there are people making a kind of equality between the adoption of business management methods and being in this Earned Income School of Thoughts. I think this is not, this is really a hidden feature. Management methods, modernization, professionalization can occur in all school of thoughts, and we always say that it's not because you adopt some tools of the business that you go only or primarily to the market. The Social Innovation School of Thoughts is seen as led by at least 2 or 3 major people. The famous definition by Greg Dees, available on the net from '98, is of course a key reference. And Bill Drayton, who launched Ashoka, is a kind of counterpart on the field. Here, the emphasis is more on outcomes than on incomes. And the emphasis is also on social innovation leading to systemic change. The social entrepreneur is a change maker, and very often he is presented as a kind of heroic entrepreneur with all the skills of a typical entrepreneur, but exploiting his or her skill to achieve kind of a public good in a way or another. The profile of the social entrepreneur is clearly central, and the social innovation as well. Hidden feature, so to speak, is that there is a clear debate when you enlarge the discussion. When social enterprise do replicate innovation launched by another social enterprise, can we speak still about social innovation? For example, in Italy, Carlo often says the first generation of social co-ops were quite innovative, but now there are, I don't remember how many, I think 14,000 social co-ops. Of course, they are not especially innovative as they do like the first generation did. What about collective dynamics of social entrepreneurship? That school focused mainly on profile of individuals, and Ashoka, even once, each time it supported an initiative, Ashoka asked, who is the boss? Even if there are 4 founders on equal feet at the outset, they want to know who is really the main social entrepreneur and their partner. Then there is also, of course, the IMES approach. I won't go too much on this, of course, because you already heard of it. What is to be said? Just a very wide of a long list of quite demanding criteria, which explain that many people said, well, it's a tough approach, we should meet all the criteria. But as I explained in the opening session, it's not at all, sorry for this repetition, but many were not there. It's not a list of criteria to be fulfilled. It just describes the pole star, so to speak. That is one single, I could even say, abstract. The pole star is not an abstraction, but at least it's one among millions of stars. And that one is defined, and the utility of such a definition of one gives a kind of a reference point. It's just a reference point, not to be approached, not to be imitated, but you can locate the group of social enterprise with respect to that abstract type, and it's a methodological tool. We never say anywhere that to be a social enterprise, the entities should meet these 9 criteria. By the way, we fully acknowledge the fact that our emphasis on governance, participatory governance, is not observed in many circumstances. For example, in work integration, social enterprise, very often marginalized people do not want even to take part in the decision-making process. In many developing or developed countries, there are social enterprise who do not focus specifically on governance. I remember in China, when I visited a set of social enterprise, they told me, we are not looking for democracy in the social enterprise, we are looking for more autonomy with respect to the state. And so, of course, this is quite relevant in such a case. It should be the starting point. But still, although, and I should add also that the MS network was not observing from the outset the individual social entrepreneurs. We put emphasis on third sector initiatives, and so we generally assume, especially in Western Europe, that a kind of collective nature in the entrepreneurship dynamics and in the governments would be observed in many cases. But we understand today, of course, like everybody, that there are a lot of individual entrepreneurs. We still focus, or at least consider, the participatory governance as a constitutive component of social enterprise, the ideal type in Max Weber term, which means variables to be observed to the largest possible extent because it's an important dimension, not a criteria to be fulfilled. Why such an emphasis on social enterprise, while in the US, for example, you almost never see anything like an emphasis on participatory governance? It's for us, on the basis of MS observation in many European countries, it's a key issue because it's a way, a privileged way, to keep the economic activity in line with the social mission, especially to design the financing mix, the whole economic model according to the social mission and to keep in line with that social mission. There are so many IMF microfinance organizations which, without participatory governance, experience a strong mission drift, although at first Mohammed Yunus and all imitators were considered as so generous that they would never change their main, I'm not speaking of Mohammed Yunus, but many imitators at a point change their mission. It's also important, as Marthe said, but Frank Moulart, who was there, stressed also the point, stakeholder participation is a key component of social innovation. I won't explain this now because you can refer to paper. The more social innovation literature is going, the more it acknowledges a social component, which means empowerment, participation of stakeholders, and so on. Even those from who we would not expect much emphasis on governments do say that a kind of social ownership, empowerment, or asset lock, or participation to decision is a key dimension. The recently launched MOVES, Movement of Social Entrepreneurs in France, even the Social Enterprise Coalition in the UK, even Kim Alter in her definition. So we think that at least, I'm not saying in normative way, I'm saying in the perspective of tools to identify models, for MS, an entrepreneurial orientation, social aims, and a kind of social enterprise, so social ownership or participatory governance are key elements. And by the way, governance is increasingly researched by people like Chris Comfort and so on. Let's come to a brief survey of mapping attempt of SE model in empirical works, in the empirical literature. These, I don't know, 5 or 6 slides, I already presented them on Monday. I won't go too long on this, but of course, if we want to make a larger mapping of social enterprise models, it would be great if we could take stock of the existing literature. And so this is not an exhaustive review, of course, but let's just observe some of the key characteristics of the existing literature. Many researchers have tried to identify the social enterprise landscape in their country. Most often, these efforts took place in their own country, sometimes through comparison with 1 or 2 other countries. Sometimes the focus was only on one field, for example, work integration or social services, elderly care, I don't know, which is great, but I mean, it was limited to specific fields. Sometimes because they were financed by, for example, a foundation who has a program on social entrepreneurship support, only those social entrepreneurs were surveyed, linked to the foundation. You know that there are now data sets about Ashoka Fellows, and the availability of the data set has driven several researchers, good researchers who want to exploit these data sets, but of course it's not the whole landscape of social enterprise. But it's a great improvement in the availability of data. Sometimes also researchers want to focus on specific legal forms, for example, social cooperatives or KICs or whatever, or one measure of public policy, especially to foster, to combat unemployment. So the point here is that, generally speaking, although there are many mapping attempts of good quality, the focus has generally been rather limited from a geographical, sectoral point of view. And most often, not always at all, but in many cases, there was an implicit or explicit reference to the earned income conception of social enterprise, probably because it's that conception which speaks to everybody's mind. Well, a non-profit or an organization working in the social sector want to increase its earned income. It looks more like an enterprise. So let's say that it's the basic definition of a social enterprise. And you go to the non-profits a bit beyond, and you try to see to what extent earned income strategy are developing. I'm not saying at all that this is a bad or weak approach. I just say it's a limited approach. Now that we know there are various manners to approach social enterprise, not just that. There are, of course, there were attempts to cover a broader geographic landscape, especially Kim Alter, for example, in her typologies, illustrated the categories through a lot of cases. Illustrative cases, a box in the paper, generally not in-depth cases, just illustrative purposes. So it was interesting, but it doesn't say anything really reliable from a scientific point of view, because it just, I mean, the empirical part, just that there exist at least a few examples of that category. Sometimes, as I say, classification of social enterprise, even in a large geographic landscape, are just looked at through specific lenses. Among the broader, of course, studies on Ashoka Fellows, which are in many, many countries, or, for example, the use of the Global Entrepreneurship Monitors, which is a great data base, can be a base, but it's sure that it does not cover the whole landscape of social enterprise. Janelle Curling, who is there, was among the real pioneers, covering, systematically comparing some countries from all the region of the world, with generally 1 or 2 countries per region. And yeah, she's there, of course. And, oh, sorry, you wanted to say? Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you. So you should, is it 2012 or 13? Yeah. Okay, fine. So we have to update some reference, and I was saying that Janelle had been a pioneer, and she's still in this line. So she did, in fact, international comparison. To my mind, it was mainly, from what I know most, comparing a bit the profile of the social enterprise sector, but now also SE models. So probably we should share more about this. So about MS work, there were, as you probably know, various projects undertaken by the MS network. I'm just listing quickly those ones who really wanted to make advances in a kind of mapping. The first one was not a detailed mapping in 2001, but it was a founding research project for the network, and in Europe it was the first attempt, I think, comparing the 15 EU countries which were member by that time. We try also, especially under the leadership of Carlo Borzaga, to work in the same way on Central and Eastern European countries, but it was much more difficult because we are not from there. The tradition is quite different, but there were attempts there. with with 10 scholars, colleagues from East Asia, we try to identify various models in China, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and efforts are still ongoing under the leadership of our colleagues. And it's why, by the way, there will be also, as you know, next year, early July, the third conference on social enterprise in Eastern Asia. And what I often say is that the deeper analysis and comparative analysis of SE model so far, I think, was the second IMES project led by Mark Nissens on work integration social enterprise. It was done over 4 years by some 20 researchers from 11 or 12 countries, and we interview 1,000 workers. There were many data, and this is, at least in the MS tradition, the stronger comparative work, but it was limited to one field. From that limited review of the literature, I apologize to those who have done more than what I'm listing here. I know it's a quite limited survey, but it gives, I think, the right impression that the SE diversity is still really under-researched in most countries, and mainly at the international, I mean in a international comparative perspective. So it's the first basic observation, statement at the outset of the ICSEM project, that diversity should be better researched, documented, and but after a decade of debate on this concept, we agree on the fact that there are many possibilities to approach social enterprise, which means that there are many models and that these models could be much better identified than before. What is clear from the existing literature is also that the diversity takes roots in the local context. Local may mean local community, but also regional or national policy framework, welfare regime, market situation. So it's a specificity of social economy, solidarity economy, social enterprise, that all the entities that we are looking at cannot be analyzed through homogeneous approach. We are not dealing with the stock exchange and the value of shares, which are practical, which can be looked at in a very homogeneous way. We don't have such a strong element of homogeneity. And it's the richness, it's probably why we are so interested in these things, is that our topics are deeply rooted in the local realities. They belong mostly to the people to solve their problems. And this is a source of fascination, but it's also a source of difficulties, of course. It's not easy, and it's probably why the data set are still so limited. But it's our ambition, our wish to make significant advance in the understanding of these locally embedded social enterprise models. And I'll come back quite soon on this. A third major conclusion is that every single SE model can't be understood without a deep analysis of those institutional force, of those drivers, be them coming from the for-profit sector, the public sector, the civil society organization. These driving forces are key elements to understand the trajectory the institutional trajectory to some degree of institutionalization. Of course, some models are just emerging, but it seems that they are growing. Many other models are already well developed, acknowledged, recognized by legal frameworks, public policies, and so on. So all